Okay, I've wrote this down here, and I want you to copy these symbols down. Some are letters, and some are symbols. I'm going to talk about them, and then I'm going to use the piano here. I'm actually going to use this piano to highlight what I'm talking about here. And then this is, like I said, this will be a little technical as far as music and chords, but then we'll talk about decisions that artists make with this that you can, always add into music, or you can understand and appreciate what an artist is doing when they raise keys or lower keys, or kind of fit in that. So I want to do a little technical thing here, kind of like when I went through the terms and had you write the terms down. And so I want you to write this down. This is going to be what you turn in as your notes this year, and any notes that I give you and talk about, I want you to put on this paper on your notes, and then upload the photo for today's assignment. But these right here, okay, these are, I put, when we talk about chords or notes or keys, they use the alphabet, okay, and so they use letters, but they only go so far. So there's going to be letters that you don't see in music as far as a chord or a key. And so I'm going to go through this. Now, right now it looks really weird and you got all these symbols, but I'm going to highlight which each of these are, okay? And we're going to start at A, just like we would start in the alphabet. Now, when you're learning music, most of the time they'll start you with C as far as playing. Middle C is something that's referred to a lot on a piano. But just to kind of keep it alphabetical and so that it's a little bit easier to understand, I started with A here, okay? And so if we're on a piano, which I'm going to show you here, an A, you've got several A's. So I'm just going to pick one of them. Here's an A. That's an A note. And just to show you that there's another A note, here's another A note. It's the same note. It's just this one's higher. It's got a higher octave, higher sound. Okay, and then you could keep going. There's another A. That's all the same note. So that is an A note. And I talked about, when we did terms, I talked about a half step. Just going up one thing on the piano, and then another half step, and another half step, half step, half step. So that's what we're going to be doing with these, is each one is a half step up. So, if I know the alphabet is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, that's fine, but those aren't half steps, okay? So an A note is here, and just to show you, a B note is here. There's a note in between there. So if I go A, B, there's a note I've missed, and that's where these little symbols come in, like this symbol, this little b, and then also a sharp, which is this, like it looks like a number sign. Hashtag, now that people use hashtags. Okay, so that's what we're going to fit these in. And so remember I talked about too, in half steps you could go flat or you could go sharp. So if I'm an A and I go up, that's a sharp for the A, but for a B and I go down, that's a flat. I go down. So this is where we're going to walk up, and I'm going to walk you through each note, and then you can kind of see how it just keeps repeating. Okay, so we start at A, and then the next note up is a B flat, okay? And so you could say it's an A sharp, but very, very few times you'll see in music someone use the term A sharp. Okay, so A and then B flat, that's this one, and then B, that's this one, and then if you notice there's no black key in between here, so there's not a B sharp, okay, there's not a B sharp or a C flat, it just goes from B to C, okay, so we went A, B flat, B, and then we just went to C. Okay, and then we're going to go to a D flat here. And you could also, I put in parentheses, C sharp. This is the same note. It's either you could call it a C sharp, because you're going one above the C, or you could call it a D flat, because you're going below a D. Okay, so there's a D flat, or you could call it a C sharp. then you got a D, okay, and then, you know, so after D, the next letter in the alphabet's an E, but you got this black key here, so it's an E flat. That's this one. And then the next one's an E. Okay. Now if you notice, from E to F, there's no black key, so we just go from E straight to F. Okay. And then from F to G, there is a black key, so it's F sharp. Okay, we went one up from F. Or you could call it G flat. I put G flat there. Those two are the same thing, either an F sharp or a G flat. Then a G. Okay. Then this we call, so it's, you know, you could call it a G sharp, but most time in music you'll refer to it as an A flat. So we went one down from A, so A flat. Okay, so that's, once again, that's every note. Okay, so A, B flat, if you're following along, B, C, D flat, D, E flat, E, F, F sharp, G, A flat. Now what happens in music is we don't go, you know, G and then H, I, J, K. It stops after G. And so when we hit that A flat or G sharp, same thing, we start back at A. And that just keeps repeating. Okay, it just keeps repeating. So we had A, and then we go again, B flat, B, C, C sharp, D, and it goes on. Goes to the next, you know, get up here to the last one, an A flat, and it starts back at A. And this just keeps repeating over and over up, you know, as you get higher and higher, or you could even go back down, okay? So that's all your notes in music, and the same thing on the guitar, and I'll probably use a guitar later to show you similarities and things. And so those are all your notes. Now they keep repeating, so there's higher and lower ones of those, but there's not like a, you know, K note or an L note or something. So that is important to know, because then when you're starting to learn music or even just appreciate what they're doing, you'll want to know like about the keys and why they lowered it or why they raised it or why they sing higher or lower. And so that I wanted to show you that so that you know all the notes, okay? And just to repeat again, when you see a little B, that's always a flat. See, I used a little B, a little B, a little B. Those are flats. And then when you see that hashtag symbol, that's a sharp. Okay, and just to repeat, like an F sharp is the same note as a G flat. It just depends on how you write it. I will tell you in music that the most common, you know, that's why I said a B flat is not usually ever called an A sharp, okay? And the same thing with an F sharp, it's very rarely called a G flat. So those are ones that you don't necessarily, you know, and that's why I want to do a little technical, but at the same time, you know, you don't have to know everything inside out of music to appreciate it, but it does help to kind of know things about it to see what artists are doing. Now, another thing I wrote is this 157, and this isn't, you know, I learn music on my own, so there's always different number systems, and there's all these different things to learn about chords and keys, and that's why I don't want to get super technical. But this is one thing I wanted us to look at, 1, 5, and 7. So let's take a C note. Okay, so we're going to start here at this C note. Because like I said, C is the most common. You know, usually most music, when you're learning music, you start in a C note. And then like I just played a chord. Remember a chord, just to review, a chord is 3 or more notes. So there's a C chord. But we're going to start on this C note. And let's say I'm playing a song in the key of C, okay? I'm going to try to do this with one hand. So there's a praise song I used to do. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. So I'm playing in a key, C, and I hit other keys in there or chords in there in that key. And so it helps to know common ones. Like very rarely are you get, now songs vary big time. And so you could have songs that play different kinds of chords in it, and they do different tricks and things, and they experiment. But most of the time a song follows a pretty set pattern. And there's certain music that does it more than others. I've noticed like country music really kind of follows those set patterns. Jazz, jazz is going to really experiment. But most of the time, and so, that's where it's good to know those patterns, because like a lot of songs you can play and use those same chords, and once you learn them, it really kind of helps with that. So the 157 comes in if I'm playing in the key of C, so key of C, and I'm playing a C chord. Then the most common pattern that I have learned in music is there's going to be chords that fit into that key that are common. And usually if I'm playing in a C, key of C, then I'm going to hit a C chord. Okay, that's the 1. And then if I count up to the 5th note, that's the other chord that's going to be common in that. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, but let's do it on this chart, because I'm sure you've not maybe learned yet which note I'm going to, but let's count up. So we're going to start here at 1. In this case, we're playing C in the key of C. So let's count up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I counted up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's an F chord. And then let's go 6, 7. That's a G. So if I'm playing in the key of C, an F and a G are going to be the most common chords in there. Okay, I can do it with A. So A is my 1, and let's count up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, there's D. 6, 7 is E. So A, D, and E. I can do it with a flat. Let's say I'm playing in the key of B flat. Okay, I'm playing in the key of B flat there. So there's my 1, but let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is E flat. 6, 7 is F. Okay, so and that's that's the thing. Like one thing you could hold me on is, well, you counted that as 1 and then you started back 1. Yeah, that's where I'm not showing you the perfect technical way of playing, because it would probably be more technical. Well, I don't even want to do it because that would be different and kind of confusing. But I started there. I said that was my 1, but then I started counting from there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So for this, that's what I want you to do, is just kind of so that you see how I'm doing it for this lesson, and that you could kind of learn those common chords. Once you get to practicing that, then you can label it however you want. You could say, well, that's actually 6 and 8 or something like that. But I just want us to do that for this. So what I want you to do is write some of those notes. Make sure you have this, though, written down for your notes. Anything that I talked about that, you may want to write to help you remember some of this. Maybe like write that it doesn't go to a K or an L or an M or something like that. It just keeps repeating at that point. And so once we start kind of learn the technical side of it a little bit and understanding, then you'll see, like, if I'm playing in a key of C, and like, let's say I'm playing those chords that fit F and G, and then a song just really gets going, and they go up to a D, and then they go up to an E chord. They're raising that for a reason. They're the song goes up, and I'm going to play some songs later in other lessons that do that. They have a key change. They go up, and you'll see, a lot of music in movies do that. And so we'll talk about what that means. But this is what I want you to copy for today. Make sure you upload your notes for the assignment today, and that will be your assignment. All right, thanks, guys.